that I said, let's just keep that second Sunday of the month as a kind of a tradition now, as a like a routine that everybody knows. We don't have to fix the date. Every month, Sunday of the month, something is happening, whether it rains or not. Yeah, so we can always have this online get together. The community is getting stronger if we just connect every month. And sometimes it's just to get together in a park. And last time we had a very nice meeting. There was some youth also there. And every month, hopefully in another colony, again, once the weather gets better, we'll do it in that setting. And the purpose was to exchange experiences and learn from each other. We are all dealing with the same issues. So yeah, that was the whole idea. And it was started very, very informally. And now this meeting is kind of getting a little bit more formal. The request for this topic came from Ms. Rina Ramachandran, who is in H Block and had initiated a long time ago in 2017 here, a committee. And she said, why not discuss the role of RWAs? And then we realized there is also a new law where the role of these RWAs are also being codified. So, and a lot of RWAs are either not knowing about it or they know about it, but they don't know how to implement it. So that's why we thought, okay, let's have this topic. And I think Rina Ji is also joined. Welcome, Rina Ji. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. Oh, very nice compliments to all of you who have come in, even when the weather is so inclement.
Yeah.
Compliments, congratulations to everyone. Such a pleasing thing, to see the best performing committee in H Block. Okay.
Vinita, can you open? I know that you can't stay until the entire meeting, but I'm very grateful that you are here for the
No, it's my pleasure. Tell me. So what are you planning to do?
So I just thought, just to first talk a little bit about the reason why we had this topic. So maybe you can introduce that. What was the reason that you asked for this topic?
Sure. And I think all of them probably must be already familiar with Anna, the genesis and all the effort that has gone in from the beginning. Now, what is important for us to go forward, because this is an area where there are lots of people who have their own opinion and they form their opinion the way their experience is, and to a large extent also because there has not been any effort by the RWA on their side, because you can't expect in a free democracy, each one has got their own way of doing things. But the way it was taken forward and Anna, brought in a system in place to work with was essentially to share with everybody, not only in H Block, but even outside, because the dogs are community animals and they are in the colony, within the colony and outside the colony. So there is no point in working only within the colony. We'll have to see in the ecosystem how we really convert and change the ecosystem to really respond to what we want to see. And it's a very important, we have gone forward quite a bit in this area, but you still have in the federation. I'm telling where I'm heading right now, but I wanted only to simply highlight this issue in the federation, essentially to put everybody in the same track, in the sense in terms of system. So if you put a system in place, then the rest will automatically happen. So the intention of having this meeting was to have a presentation by all of you. Anna was actually in it on board and was to make a presentation. So, but what I got the message was, and which was quite surprising because I was not present in that meeting, I believe they were a mayoral meeting, the newly elected mayor's meeting, which was held on, I think, 7th June. And some of the RWAs were present who represented probably the leaders in civil society, and he and our friend who is currently the president of G Block, I think he gave a feedback in the meeting that most RWAs were not in favor of whatever is happening, and so therefore a lot of focus is given there and on. So which was actually a mindset which was working in the wrong direction. So I think your first task now seems to be that even within the RWAs that you are, and even those which are not, we will have to slowly progress in that area of making them recognize that, and even he even labored to say that it is not that we have no role to play. I mean, to say that probably federation has no role to play, which is totally wrong, absolutely wrong, because as per our constitution, all of us, all the citizens will have to pay attention to this aspect, which is a provision contained in our constitution. And as per law, you are on the right direction and you should continue to do what you're doing. What I think you need to be doing is to equip yourself to deal with anything unusual that happens, or any not treating the dog well, or something else happens, or dispute arises. So though we have been using the route of the courts, and courts have been supporting because it's as per law, but more than that, I think it has to get into the hearts of people. So it has to be a slow process. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think slowly you will have to convert the people. We have seen that happening in our own block in a big way, and many other blocks in Saket, because even in that meeting of the federation, there were few members who highlighted as to how they have been able to control the population, how they were managed to do it. One of the important aspects that got highlighted in the meeting was they are mentioning that the NGOs were, doing things which are not correct. They are not doing their job. They're collecting money. They're corrupt. All kinds of things. So those NGOs who are basically meant for looking after the interests of the dogs and their community are actually not performing or not doing. So it is a money making proposition and things like that. These are the kind of accusations which came in. So some of our members who are present, very few, of course, one or two of them, they highlighted with statistics how they managed to control the population, how they did, how the systems have been put in place. I think this was probably Golf View apartment, make the Golf View apartment. Uh, but I don't remember exactly whether it was ANC block, probably one of the two blocks, and they did make a mention. So even though I highlighted whatever was happening here, but there was no point in going into defending the issue and things like that, because we are on the right track, and I think whatever you are all doing extremely well, go forward, continue to do that. But where you have a dispute, where you are absolutely sure you have evidence, collect evidence. Everywhere you must collect evidence. You should not leave it. And the law is in your favor. And unless the people get a feel that, okay, if they are wrong, they will not be let out like that. And I'm getting a feeling that sometimes we don't want to go after somebody who is powerful, or who can't be fought, or who can't be controlled. No, don't worry about that part. If he is wrong, because law is right. We must follow. In India, I think we are fortunate enough to have a law that is working, and so therefore we must take full advantage of the legal provisions. But where you are wrong, you are wrong. You must accept you are wrong. Now, all the provisions which have been made there in terms of the feeding, what we need to ensure is that those things are followed by those people who are preaching. Those people who are preaching, they should themselves follow all the regulations. And in their own blocks, I think they should enforce it. So I only have to say this, we are on the right track, and don't get disheartened, don't get worried. You will have all kinds of reactions coming from everywhere, but you are doing a great job, and I continue to keep on track. And whatever help is required, we will give. Anna is there. We have a very good team, and the best performing subcommittee of RWA is this. Is that okay, Anna? That's fine. There's nothing else to say. Very
Yes,
happy that
yes.
all of you are here.
Wonderful.
No,
Thank
no,
you so much.
we are working very well. I'm so happy that Anna, when she came to our blog, we all got together, and she's really helped us so much. And of course, she's continuing her support. And now we wish to do the best for our strays or community dogs. Because I always promote that the dogs are here to stay, and we must try and take care of them as much as we can.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I always promote,
So
and
that will be a slow process, but you are on the right track and go
yeah,
forward.
yeah, of
That's
course, ma'am. With all your guidance and help and Anna's, all of us will do very
great.
well and take
Great.
care of the strays.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I'm sorry. I would have liked to be present personally, meet all of you. Maybe one of your next meetings, I'll do that.
Yes, I think so.
We'll
Next
take
meeting,
it
ma'am.
forward, and
Thank you.
anything
Thank you.
required
Thank you.
Thank,
from our side, Anna is there to help you. Okay?
thank you
Wonderful.
so much.
I have a conference call, so I'm running.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much,
having me.
Dinaji. And
Thanks a lot.
wonderful. Thanks for all the good words, the encouragements.
Thank you.
Appreciated
Thank
it.
you.
We have Vanika Singh, who is a lawyer at FIAPO, the Federation of Indian Animal Protection Organizations, where a lot of animal welfare organizations are a part of it. And she will give a little bit of an insight in what the new laws say about the duties and responsibilities, especially of the RWAs. Of course, there is a lot to say about feeders, and what Rinaji was saying, we should not get disheartened. The law is on our side, etc. We have to do the right things, though, because also feeders are, of course, sometimes not always doing the right things. But if you know the law, there is no issue. There is no way to be worried. But we would like to see what the law is now actually saying that RWAs should be doing as well. And so that is one. Some of you may know that I have been educated as a lawyer, but what I actually decided to do is public policy, because I thought law has to be an instrument for problems to be solved in the society. So whatever problems we can have a legal solution, we can have other solutions as well. And so I wanted to widen my perspective and more work with stakeholders and more work with communities, etc. So this is my background, and I feel that the law is useless if we're not implementing it, right? So we have to see how it works out on the ground. And even if the RWAs have a duty and they don't know how to, and they say that they can't implement it, then nothing will happen in real life. So having said that, Vanika, are you getting ready? Because she has a couple of slides. But I wanted to also say that lately we have seen in the news quite confusing also. First of all, very negative media. And I think that is very dangerous, because it makes people fearful unnecessarily. And what we fear is what we destroy. If we're hostile, we know it, the animals will react. And I think I see a very negative spiral there, which we have to, with positive. And I think a lot of people are also not spending enough time on our side as caregivers, feeders, to explain what positively can be done for those that are fearful. So maybe we can help them a little bit. We can guide them. We can actually show that side also a little bit. But that's one thing of the media. The other thing in the media was a lot of confusion about different bills that were withdrawn from Parliament. One bill on the livestock trade and transportation, in which also companion animals like dogs and cats could be live transported. And was withdrawn from Parliament after a lot of protests. So we also saw that the minister was announcing a law for stray dogs. We still don't know exactly what that will be. Does he mean the PCA, the Prevention for Cruelty to Animals Act? That is going to be updated. We're not sure what he's going to put in there. We now see a lot of dog pounds shelters being built and come up, and a lot of media around that. So is that legal? Is that not legal right now? I think there is a movement that explains, in court, that the dog pounds are not legal because they're not in accordance with the freedoms of the animals, the welfare of the animals. And so we also saw, and that is a positive thing, the ABC rules under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act were updated and issued and gazetted in March. Now, Vanika, are you there? So if you unmute yourself, great. Yeah, wonderful. So welcome, Vanika. Once again, I am very appreciative that you on a Sunday come here to join us. Vanika and I know each other because we have been working on the community dog issue and had certain meetings that we attended, even with the Delhi High Court appointed committee and officers. We went to different veterinary services departments together, and we worked on a draft guideline for the RWAs to implement this. So the guideline is not yet ratified by the Animal Welfare Board of India, but it's a draft guideline, and we can still voluntarily work accordingly. The Stray Buddy program is doing just that. So welcome once again, Vanika. May I just ask you, this animal birth control rules that have just been issued, there was a clause in there for the first time that codifies that RWAs have a duty and a responsibility.
Yes.
So if you could just briefly explain what the purpose of these ABC rules are in general, and what then the specific relevant paragraph about RWAs and community dogs are.
Yes. So I have a small presentation for it. I hope you can see it.
Yeah, but it's a bit small.
Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, now it's getting better. Can everyone see? Yeah.
So hello everyone, I am Varnika. So I am working in the field of animal laws for the past 5 years, and now I am leading the legal division of FIAPO. And thank you, Anna, for the opportunity. And if I will be able to bring some clarity on it, I will be really glad. So regarding the animal birth controls rules 2023, I think everyone is aware that these new rules have come into picture, and now there is a new term, not new term, but the term has been put legally in the rules, which is community animals in place of street animals or stray animals. So so community animals, it defines that any animal born in a community for which no ownership has been claimed by any individual or an organization, and excluding wild animals. Now coming to the um, resident welfare organizations, or where are there no resident welfare associations in their apartment owner association or any other local body, what they have to do with regards to these community animals. So first of all, under these rules, the RWAs have been given the duty to take care of these animals, and so it is as a compassionate gesture, because even in our constitution under article 51 AG, it is the duty of the citizens to show sympathy, to take care of animals. So it comes as a duty which has been put under these rules. Now what has been specified is this: what RWA has to do, they have to designate the feeding spot mutually agreed upon. And how this will be done, they have to keep in mind what is the population of the area, where is their respective territory, and these feeding spots. As you all know already that the area should be a bit secluded. There should be no vehicle passing. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Parul will have to mute herself, I think.
Little bit maybe.
I would request if when Varnika is speaking, let's put all of us on mute so that all of us can hear it properly.
Great idea. I'll just mute myself.
So, and not near the staircase, and not near where senior citizen gathers. So all these things has to be taken care to make the feeding spots for these street animals. And these community animals, not only dogs but cats are also included in it. And the other thing is to designate there should be a feeding time, not each and not every time there should be a feeder, so that because sometimes it becomes problematic, so we have to take care of the other people also who are living in the society, especially those people who are not who do not like community animals. So designate feeding time depending on the movement of children, senior citizens. And then the other thing is designate feeder shall ensure that there is no littering at the feeding. So when you are feeding, please clean that area and keep it neat and clean. And then another thing is the feeders are allowed to volunteer for the vaccination and catching. Now, this is because you already are aware that people, in society who do not care for community animals, they are not going to do it. Who will do it is the people who are taking care of these community animals. So if you will take care of the vaccination, their sterilization, their catching and release to the same area, calling the municipality if there is any problem, or for the animal birth care program. So therefore, this liability as a volunteership has been put on designated feeders. Now, regarding the monitoring committee. So first of all, I am sure you all are aware, and Anna must have told you about the Maya Chablani case of Delhi High Court. So wherein firstly, these directions came up through the court that there should be a monitoring committee in all the RWAs. And now it has been incorporated in these rules. So who will be the part of this monitoring committee? So the reason of this monitoring committee is to take care of the community animals. Any majorly feeding issues come, but other issues can also be incorporated in it. So who will be the part of it?
Vanika, may I just ask you, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Is this a monitoring committee or the animal welfare committee that you're talking about for the RWAs?
Welfare committee, and it is also written here.
Oh yeah.
It's the animal welfare committee. Monitoring committee is for the ABC sterilization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Thanks.
So these are the people who will be part of the animal welfare committee. Chief veterinary officer, representative of the jurisdictional police, so local thana, whoever is there in the local thana, the IO, he will be the part of it. And then the district SPCA of the jurisdiction, and the representative of the recognized animal welfare organization conducting animal birth control. So this recognition is given by the AWBI, Animal Welfare Board of India. And then a veterinary officer deputed by the local authority. This local authority is your nearby municipality. The complainant who has the grievance, who has come up with the complaint in the society regarding the community animals, and the representative of the RWA or the apartment owner or local body of that area. So when when a grievance has occurred, so this animal welfare committee will take care of that grievance and will pass an order. So there could be a confusion that how the decision will come, because there is complainant also and there is RWA also, and it is not provided how the decision will come. So what can be done is whosoever is in the majority decision will prevail. There could be a voting system for it, but whatever order has come, it has to be in written. And if the order is in favor of RWA, or is in the favor of the complainant, or it is in the favor or against animal welfare organization, then they have also got a chance to appeal against that order of the animal welfare committee. So where they can appeal, if there is a state animal welfare board, they can appeal there. If it is not there, then they can appeal to the Animal Welfare Board of India within 30 days of the receipt of the decision. And there is also provision of second appeal. If any of the parties is not satisfied with the first appeal order, then the second appeal is again within the 30 days of the receiving communication from the board to the secretary department of the animal husbandry. So second appeal will go there, and that will be the final order. So this is regarding RWAs. Anna.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, a lot what you said is about grievance and if there's a conflict. Let me just, can you hear all of you? Can you hear me? Yes, I think this mic is on. Yeah. So there are two parts. First of all, if we have no grievance, what can we do already in the colony? There's a lot of things and a lot of work, and that's why this five-step approach that we had tried to implement through Stray Buddy comes into place. Now, if indeed there is an issue that cannot be solved in the colony itself, then this Animal Welfare Committee can be established. Allow me just to clear that.
Yes.
I will just now have to share.
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, if you can, then I'll just share one thing. Yeah. Just to clarify that, because then we are done with this grievance, because I think there's a lot more to say about. Can you see all this? Yeah. To place what Varnika just said. Sorry, I think it's not sharing the way I want it, but you can all see it, right?
Yes.
Put a slideshow maybe.
And slideshow. Chalo.
HTML1.
Yeah.
It goes automatically like this. Doesn't matter. I'll just make it a little bigger like this. What Varnika was just saying is this: the grievance, if you cannot solve it in the colony, then actually there should be an animal welfare committee established under the ABC rules by all those, competent authorities, and the RWA is part of it, and the grievance, the person who has a grievance is part of it, and the final decision has to be respected, or there is an appeal to the state animal welfare boards, right? That is point 3. But before we get there are 2 other steps. You can have your RWA Animal Welfare Committee do a lot of work and also address grievances in your colony, and you can also have your presidents to basically take some decisions here. And if there is really no other way, there is also the involvement of the SHO of police if there is no amicable solution, like if it really goes out of hand. So this is the amicable conflict resolution process with the ultimate SHO involvement that you can basically see. But law is law, right? I mean, it's not going to help us do the work on the ground. Only if we know that we have the law on our side, then we can do the work properly, I think. So that is good to know all of this. I just wanted to place that perspective. Varnika, thank you. Now, I want to ask everyone who has a question on any legal aspects, we can do that for a couple of minutes before we go further into what else we can do in our colonies with support of RWA. Okay. So anyone with questions? Sarika? Sarika, did you want to ask something?
No, I'm okay.
Sorry.
Then Parul wants to ask something.
Parul.
Yeah.
Parul, please.
Hello. Yeah. So, Varnika, I just wanted to ask, and even to Anna, said, when you said according to the legal aspects, ticking it up to the RWA, but what if the RW is also not receptive and sometimes they want to relocate the dogs? How do we handle that in the ambit of a legal law frame?
So, Parul, this is happening actually a lot, and most of the RWAs are actually against the community animals. So in this scenario, as Anna said also, we first decide if it could be mutually solved. If it cannot be solved mutually, then you should go to the local police station and to the SHO and tell them about what is happening in the society.
Okay.
And also make him aware of this RWA Animal Welfare Committee, because police, they are not aware, and until and unless a pressure is made to them, because single-handedly if you will go, I am sure they are not going to listen. You can also take the help of the animal welfare organization.
Okay.
Try to contact SPCA, try to indulge AWP. So what we do as an organization, when we get such requests, we write to SPCA, and then the person who has come to us, we ask them then to go to the police, and if possible we provide them the volunteer support, because if 2-3 people go to the police, then it is better, and then tell the police that this and this is happening, and so that police can come to the society to solve the issue, not Filing complaint is, not that somebody will go to jail or anything, because there are other legal technicalities for a mediation purpose. And if
I,
Okay. So
I,
thank you. Does that answer your question, Parul?
Yeah,
Anna, and if
yes, to
Anna
an
has to add
extent
anything.
it does, but I just wanted to know it does help. See, nobody wants to go down that such a drastic route
long
of going to
journey,
the police.
correct, of
Nobody does.
resolution.
And first point of intervention is always that we involve, we do the involvement ourselves or get the RWA involved. But I just wanted to know, what other options are there, because at most places, the RWs are not very receptive to really stepping into these things. They don't want to. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to get an opinion.
Okay, thanks,
They-
Parul. I think this is an issue that a lot of people are struggling with. Let's just move on. Anandalaji and Suchita, both of you would
Yes,
like
I
to.
want to say basically there are two main issues which come up with stray dogs. One is common feeding grounds, and the other one is sometimes the one of the dogs get very hyper and they start biting. Other than these two issues, I don't see any other issue cropping up. So basically, the feeders have to also ensure that whatever common feeding grounds have been, which have been identified by the RWA, they should abide by those. One, they should not try and litter around that feeding place. Two, three is whenever a dog gets very hyperactive or or even very aggressive, so that is when people should step in to help. And even if the dog has to be relocated for a few days, then there should be a kitty which will take care of that dog's relocation for a month or 2 months. So this is what my observation of the. There are two major issues: only feeding ground, feeding place, and a dog which gets very hyper and aggressive.
So,
Which
Anandalaji, just to go back, let's see, finish the legal points. What you're saying
yes,
on feeding, there are some legal directions that court has given. So let us again, Varnika gave them on the slides, so we can share those slides so we can see where can be fed and how it should be done. Also,
yes,
I'm happy to go into the colony and help you identify, according to these criteria, what the best solution is in your area, because every colony is different. And every,
perfect,
yeah,
perfect.
so that is one. There is some legal guidelines there, so we can look into that. And second,
Okay,
on that biting, just on the legal situation is that a dog that has habitually bitten a lot of people and there is proof, there is a facility that the MCD can take the dog under observation for rabies
yeah,
suspicion for 10 days, I think it is. So then it needs to go back to the colony once it is not rabied. But this is in reality also not always happening. But we're talking about the law and we're talking about reality. There's two different
but
things.
you see, everything cannot be put on RWA. One. Second is everything cannot be put on feeders. Third is the point. What is MCD doing? They are supposed to. They are having a veterinary department. They are supposed to vaccinate the dogs. They are supposed to neuter the dog. It is people like us who are stepping in.
Right.
Why
You're
should it
very,
happening?
very right. So let us now, I think, get the system to do its job. Right.
Yes, I also believe in that.
If we are organizing ourselves better, then we can go to the MCD and say, you have to do this drive. We have 350 dogs here in Saket. We know
Right.
exactly which dog needs to be vaccinated when. So we do
Correct.
annually, we do 4 drives, one in March, one in July, and you come with your vaccinations and your team. Right. So like that, we should organize ourselves and demand these funds to come to us. Right.
Yes, I
That
agree.
is one of those things that let's organize ourselves better. And I'm happy again to come. And if you can come with me to the officers, that would be even better. Another.
Yes, yes, I'm okay to join
Let's
in.
go. Let's go. Yeah. Please.
Actually, I just had one point on the relocation aspect, and there I would say we have to be very careful of how we say relocation, because that can be then used either ways. So that is the reason we were able to, and we don't call it relocation, we call it kind of giving the dogs a break. And taking them
Observation.
away, not taking them away, but getting them to a shelter where we know that they are going to be supportive. As soon as you use the term relocation, that is something that all your residents might use as a way to, as a way to just take the dog away. And if the reason we were able to, so my point is the reason we were able to do this in H block with a couple of dogs is because we had a very strong support system in terms of the member. So if it's just one person or two people doing it, it won't be possible. And then who's going to follow up with the dog? So we had like Anna, Oshi, and a lot of other people who were following up with the NGO and dropping the dog and bringing them back. Otherwise, besides that, I think relocation has to be taken very seriously and has to be the extreme last step on how
But
to
relocation itself cannot be done.
Exactly. So the term
By law.
itself,
I understand. Maybe
But relocation is illegal. Yes.
yeah, I understand. Maybe my choice of word was wrong, but what I meant to say was shifting him out for at least a month so that that dog also calms down a little and he knows that he cannot go on a biting spree.
Fine.
Whatever we can do.
So we have a system again for that, a process that we can follow and do it humanely, and rather not wait for the MCD to come. But I've seen also in colonies, I must say, that the feeders and caregivers are against even taking the dog temporarily, in a humane manner to a good shelter, because there is cost involved and that needs to be paid also. So there we need to see, in some colonies we have a kitty where people share into that cost. And the feeders may not trust that the dog comes back. So there's a hesitation of the caregivers sometimes. So we need to work with the caregivers and build that trust that there is a proper system and a humane system. Now, Sanjeev has a legal question for Vanika. And Suchita is also waiting. First is Sanjeev. Yeah.
Where do I?
You just talk.
Hi, Monica.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Think so.
This is Sanjeev Prakash. You're a lawyer. Thank you for your legal background. I'm a political economist. I'm a professor. I was till I retired. And I studied communities, commons, communication. These words in the English language at least all related and they mean something. And one of my mentors was Professor Lynn Ostrom, who actually won the Nobel Prize for her work in this area. The one thing I want to say, when we speak about community dogs, and you said, and I was listening very carefully then, that community dogs can belong to anyone and they can belong to someone.
Can you be a little louder or come closer to the
Come closer. Yeah, you can speak louder.
I try to speak louder. Can you hear me now? I was trying.
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
So I was trying to say that when it comes to our work on communities and what they own, which we generally call the commons, it's a very in real life, not maybe we have to change the laws also, it's very positive thing to think that the community's resources belong to all collectively and require teamwork to look after. Now that may seem very idealistic, but it can happen if we are positive. I can show you just yesterday, one of the people sitting here was involved, that we had a dog who was run over by a car. And that injury led to a meeting with the president of the RWA, who had been very elusive so far, and even for him offering to pay part of the costs of that injury. And we actually created a link because of that injury and because we behave like a community and work together. So this teamwork is important in India, and very much so, because we tend to, we think of ourselves as a group, but we all go off in different directions. Now, I'll just close with two examples, because we're speaking about connections with municipalities. And I give you two examples from states within India. First, the positive one. In Chennai, mostly due to the work of an organization called the Blue Cross of India, headed by Dr. Chinni Krishna, who all of you will know. He's told me that Chennai, because of their ABC program, from the airport to the town, has not had a single certified case of rabies for 25 years. Now, if you don't have rabies, then the population is also very, very becalmed by this. The dog bites are not so dangerous. Now, just look at what's happening next door to Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala. The municipality, in Chennai, Blue Cross couldn't do it alone. Dr. Chinni Krishna is quite well off. He runs a factory. He has political influence. He worked with the municipalities. And the municipality is smaller than in Delhi. We have 5 of them. But it's possible to create those political links. And I can also help in creating them. Because once you create those links, you can create some mutual trust and begin to work together. It may take 20 years, but it's something to start. And he has done it in India, in a city, in a metropolis. That should be an example. And then, of course, right next door to Kerala, we are fighting that case in this court. I just spoke to Percy Bilimoria. He couldn't come to this meeting because of that case. And there, the municipalities have done nothing. And their budgets, like Delhi municipalities, often just finish before they can pay even for the sterilization, as happened with Friendico some years ago. You know, by 31st March, they have no money left. They just say, we can't pay you. Sorry, we've done 1,000 sterilizations. We may owe you 3 lakhs, but we can't pay. So this municipality connection in Kerala is very negative. And Delhi, I think, is in between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Let us learn from those examples. And I'm happy I've taken enough time. I'll be happy to give more details personally later.
So yeah, so Kerala situation I am actually aware of, and we are also in this street dog case, which is
Sure you are.
well.
Great. What I wanted to do is, if there's more legal questions, Suchita wanted to ask, and otherwise I would like to move on to the next part of this program today, because I don't know how much time you all have, but I think we should also look into the way we are working already in the communities with the RWAs, some more formal, some more informal, some, you know, in different stages of development of the process. But what we can do next, and ask from the RWA to support us with this process. So that would be the next point I would like to bring forward. But last legal question, Suchita, you had raised your
So
hand.
I don't have a legal question, but I wanted to put on a perspective of a person like me, like, you know, Anna. I'm not a dog lover or a feeder or, you know, a caretaker for a dog. I actually cannot do it. That's not within me. But I don't like anybody, you know, ill-treating another human being, another animal, another living being, you know, that kind of thing. And because I met up with Anna, that is how we started our Stray Buddy program in our colony. And Varnika and Parul were discussing the legalities. Please understand, we're dealing with human beings. Some of our caregivers are, you know, people who just come and feed the dog and go away, and they won't lift a finger if the dog is not well. You know, so that has become, as an RWA, it has become a big challenge for me. The other challenge is, of course, the people living who don't want the dogs. You see, these programs that are held by these, you know, like the one on June 7th that you guys are mentioning, is a totally political program. It has got nothing to do with, you know, the concern for the, you know, for the strays that are there, or concern for human beings. It's just a political gimmick, you know, the whole thing. You can never solve a problem like this, that we don't want dogs. Where are the dogs going to go? It's a stupid program, you know. You have to learn to live with them, and live with them in harmony. And like Anna and I are struggling in Aravali, we are trying to only highlight the positive point. Anything that is done is highlighted, and well, because today, anybody, you keep putting something on social media, people will start believing you. So my point is, if all caregivers start highlighting what they are doing, they are not doing it against human beings. It is for the human being. So that's how we've introduced Stray Buddy into Aravali. We say it is for you, not for the dogs. We are taking care of you by, you know, vaccinating the dog, by taking care that the dog is not sick, by taking care that he's well fed and he's not going to bite. And if there is a delinquent dog, you know, we're dealing with that kind of a dog, you know, someone who's biting, and we're trying to deal. I think if we all project a more positive picture, it will help us better than going to the police. Because I know if the police steps into Ravli one on this dog issue, we may as well say bye to the whole work, all the work that we've done. That's what I wanted to put forth.
Very good point, Suchita. Really.
Well, yeah, valid points. Javi,
Yes, I have a law-related question. Is there anything in writing in the law which says that a feeder or a caregiver is not responsible for the dog biting?
There is no such thing. but there is also not given that he would be responsible. So the law is neutral on this aspect.
Law is quiet on this.
Yes, it's neutral on this aspect.
Yes, but I think that naturally, since a community animal is a community animal, right? The definition of that means that it is not owned by an individual, but multiple by the community. So that the community needs to solve that issue. So the owner of the problem of a community dog biting is the community. I see that you raised your hands. Before I come to what I would like to ask all of you is look into your own colony and see what there we can do next, also in the collaboration with the RWAs. Charu?
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, thank you, Anna. So, Vanika, there is this peculiar, situation in our colony. Just a minute, I'm sorry. Where, so we have a community dog who has been a little problematic for the residents, in the sense that he chases mates, he chases domestic help. There are times when he, maybe out of excitement, he also digs his teeth into, into the calf muscles of the passers-by, not with the intention of biting, but just in his excitement. And there was a call for removal of this dog or relocation of this dog. We did try to find out, including, and Suchita is very aware of it, our RWA was extremely supportive. We tried to find out another home for this, but the overall cost was coming very expensive, and we could not pool in that kind of a fund. As of now, the situation is again quiet, but I fear it will erupt once, it will erupt in the future. So in this case, what is the legal action that can be taken? Where he is a community dog and he is a little problematic, we do not have enough funds to put him permanently at any of the homes. What is the way out?
So first of all, have we taken care of all the possibilities that whether the dog is sterilized and why is he showing such kind of a behavior that has to be taken care of? What is the age of the dog?
He would be around 5 or 6.
Sorry, I have to interrupt here because we don't have the time for this right now, but I'm happy to Aravali apartment, right? Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
Anna, yes, Anna, the same dog we spoke about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is I would like to use this as an opportunity for the whole group of caregivers to basically go through a process of a method where we check the boxes that Varnika was just trying to start with you. There are questions that you can ask, and there's a lot that you can do. And I believe, and I've seen, these dogs are individuals. They respond. So we can actually change their behavior by leveraging and turning a couple of knobs. And for that, I have developed a method that I've applied with Sarika successfully in ANC block. And today I went to Go Few Apartments. There is a dog that also has suddenly started, is the sweetheart of the guards. Even the president of the RWA, whose anti-dog, says, what happened to this lovely creature, has started biting. So there must be a trigger, right? There must be something that this behavior has suddenly changed. And maybe a dog is anxious by nature. There could be something in his system. Let us look at that. So I have a method.
I agree.
And I will come to
Anna,
you.
if I may just... Yeah, of course.
Legally, if I may, Vanika, I think you have to confirm if I'm right or wrong. Legally, the MCD can, on the complaints of biting, take this dog on the suspicions of rabies.
As the last resort. This should be the last resort.
And there's no cost for the community. There's no cost, but it is also something that we don't know if this dog is going to come back, right? So I would not wait for MCD. I mean, they have to bring it back by law, but realities are sometimes a little different. Either you follow up and go to the facility where the MCD has taken the dog. That's what I do. I go and visit the dog. So you go and visit every 3 days and see, and then make sure it comes back after 10 days. Then it's okay. Or you take it to an NGO, but then there is a cost. You have to donate a little bit because they will then take care of the dog quite well. Yeah, we have time limitation.
Sure.
I wanted to move on, but I'm coming to our Avalis because it's also an awareness creating program that I'm trying to, guide everyone in, because I will capacitate a team. I will capacitate you to do this in future incidences, because there are quite a few things that you can change to change the behavior of that dog. Okay. Thanks, Vanika. Thank you so much so far. And please stay on for a few more minutes. We have about 13 communities active right now. And they work according to these 5 steps, not as a sequential process, but iterative. But we do start with the mapping so that we know the population of the dogs. So all of you are familiar with it. I don't need to go through all of these steps, right? You can hear me. Yeah. Deepika is leaving. Thank you, Deepika. Yeah, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can spend another session on this. With all the awareness activities in step 5, I think we can do much more than that. Guard info sessions, kids sessions, donation, door-to-door donation drives with youth. But what I wanted to come to was these. I've made some, and I shared it on WhatsApp groups with you also. Quick rapid assessment. If I would follow these 5 steps and I look at your colonies, and it's already started way before we have formalized or actually introduced the stray buddy approach, you started to sterilize in your colonies, etc. So I cannot dedicate it to the stray buddy program, and I'm not also trying to even demonstrate that this is the effect of the program. But I just looked at the situation where you are standing right now, and I think A and C block, Sarika, would you like to just highlight 1 or 2 things on this, and then secondly, say what would it be that you would like to see as support from the RWA in this process? And you are an elected or an executive member of the RWA yourself, right? Sarika, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think when we started off with this program, it was, we were a little bit unorganized. We had a lot of issues in the colony in terms of some dogs which were anxious. We also had a situation where we were not aware of who's feeding the dogs, what is happening. Some were being fed through a group, some were not being fed through anybody. So there was something like this. And what we tried to do was at least ensuring 1 meal a day for all our community dogs. We did the mapping with Anna. That was the start point. At least we now knew how many dogs, where exactly are they located, who's taking care of them. So we let that happen as is, but we ensured that at least 1 meal was going to each dog, along with deworming, along with the, making sure that they were vaccinated. We were not very much successful because somehow we were not able to catch most of them. Sterilization we achieved, all the dogs except 1, so that 1 is still pending. So in a way, it was good start. It also brought about some visibility on the activities that the caregiving people were doing. Earlier, it was a little bit of disjointed stuff. The situation that I think we dealt effectively was the situation we had at gate number 2, where there was a kind of a pack formulation, and there was some bit of aggressive 1 or 2 of them which were biting or which were chasing and so on and so forth. So we initiated a kind of a residents group which was called dealing with the situation. What did we call it? Dealing
You
with
said dealing with dogs.
Yes, dealing with dogs. Yeah. So using this group, we kind of created awareness about the dog behavior within that smaller area. We had the support from other people in the colony in terms of, giving them a proper place, making sure that people were aware of which dog is aggressive and taking care of not to, go too near or try to, calm things down. That was quite effective, and it's for the last, I think, 5 or 6 months, we've had no such issues coming out of that place. So I think here Anna was quite instrumental in coming and assessing the dog, in particular the one we were talking about. And when she was around, the dog was absolutely calm. So it was like, okay. So, I think what really helped was the people coming together, created a bit of awareness within that area, and also, kind of made the dogs comfortable in where they were. Okay, we also ascertained a space for them for feeding. Earlier, Weber was feeding them at a particular time. Now we ensured that, the burden was not just his alone. We had a community thing, and everybody pulls in, and we have at least one meal a day. So, which makes sure that they are well fed and they are having a resting place, which is what they're calling their own.
Sarika, just very quickly, I'm realizing that this is going to be a very difficult thing to do this with all the groups. But sorry, I'm just clicking through the presentation. I wanted to say what we did in your colony was to look into the dog side and the human side in that checklist that I actually, and I don't have the slides, the dog side and the human side, and we checked all the boxes. We ticked it all the boxes, and that method I would like actually everybody to understand what are the levers that we can, pull and push. And because as I saw it, it was amazing what a transformation these dogs underwent just by giving them a place to sleep, that they can proper rest. They were safe behind a police barrier with some gories. So they had proper sleep, and after that, their behavior was, they wake up much more happy right in the day. I mean, people don't realize that dogs are constantly disturbed and therefore get irritated if they don't have a place to sleep. I mean, simple things. So that methodology may be another time we can go through it, and if everybody knows how to apply it, then we can actually make a change in these. We can find the triggers and address them in the behavior of the dogs that are problematic. So now, Sarika, on the RWA side, because we are over the 10 minutes, what is it that you would like to see as cooperation, and also maybe, the way forward?
I think from my side, I would say that we would need the RWA to step in and help in communicating with the residents, creating awareness about the methodology and what we are trying to do, and in some way give them some kind of skill on how to deal with a certain situation in case they feel that the dog is getting aggressive or this. So I would say awareness is what I would like to seek help on. I would also like to seek help on, you know, uh, I mean, uh, I would personally want, that's my this thing. How do you manage the dog poop issue? What can we do to make sure that the environment is clean? I'm not saying that that is just because of the community animals, but also because of the pet population within the colony, and of course, irresponsible behavior by pet owners. So I think these are the two things. Vaccination, sterilization, I think we do through MCD, so that is not such a big issue. And plus the caregivers step in. We just need to mobilize the authorities for those things. So for me, these are the two major concerns, which I feel are also irritants to the residents.
And one point that I think you brought up in the conversation with me yesterday was the sustainability of these efforts, right?
Yeah,
So
of course.
the RWA can actually, kind of. And we were talking about Varnika is leaving because she has a lot of other work, I know. Thanks a lot, Varnika, for your time. And Varnika also introduced that Animal Welfare Committee, which is in that court case, Delhi High Court, it was actually made mandatory in those colonies where, there are conflicts or issues with the community dogs. And basically everywhere, I would say, to prevent issues and conflicts, you should have an Animal Welfare Committee formally under the executive.
Yeah, and talking about sustainability of the effort, I think one RWA may be supportive, the next one after the term ends may or may not be. So I think some kind of a process needs to be put in place, which is part of the bylaws or whatever laws are there in the RWA setup, so that there is a proper handover of the animals as well, not just the other aspects of the RWA. So that part, I think sustainability is a thing that I would expect the RWA to do before they end their term and move on to the next.
Right. Good. I think you summarized it quite well on what RWAs can do, raising awareness. And there are issues such as, raising awareness around poop, but also about other issues. I think there's a lot that we can do. And we've seen posters, we've seen quizzes, we've seen info sessions for guards. We've seen so many things in different colonies as examples. So I think the RWA, if they are willing to help organize these sessions and raise, get residents to come and attend these sessions, or kids, or, get the guards together, if they would send out positive messages rather than sharing whatever happens in Hyderabad and other towns where, again, a bite incidents led to a horrible death of somebody, or another horrible incident. Share, the RWA can also share what can you do to avoid these confrontations, right? So raising awareness in a positive way, and the activities that we're all doing, making them visible, etc. So yeah, Sanjeev also says positive examples, share positive examples. So if we ask for RWAs that, but we can prepare those messages and work with the RWA representative to share them. I think also we can prepare some materials and share it on the website so that others can also use those materials from other colonies and, whatever, pull it in. And then the Animal Welfare Committee to sustain the efforts beyond the elections. I think that would be a very good thing. Mr. Chabra is the president of the, of the D Block RWA.
Can you hear me?
To close the meeting, can you say a few words, Mr. Chabra? Thanks for
thank you very much. When you came to our D Block, we had a real good meeting, and we had a sense of the fact that somebody was there to give us an insight into the life of the pets, the strays. And we were happy to work with you, and we still continue to feel so. And I think from our block, Anandmala is more active, and she's already working with you on several issues. Chavi is another activist, I will say, she's doing a good job. And I still have to meet Chavi and find out a third place feeding in our block. So, and today's session has been very good, very informative, very encouraged by your words. So let's continue to work in this direction, where it is a welfare for everybody, all the pets, all the strays. And I think we had a good session. Thank you very much for inviting us. And this has been a very good time spent for 1 hour, a little more. I had a tree fall in the colony, so I was in and out in between, taking care of that. But overall, I enjoyed the session, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for joining, and thanks everyone else for joining as well. And I'm getting applause from Sanjeev, who has brought all these samosas. So all of you who missed the samosas, maybe next time we'll have another snack again. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.